Remember that gut-wrenching moment when you pull up to the gas station and see the prices? It's like a punch to the stomach, isn't it? You glance at the numbers, hoping they've dropped since your last visit, but instead, they've climbed even higher. Yeah, we've all been there. The frustration is real, and it's a shared experience that unites us all in a collective groan. Lately, it feels like every time we blink, the numbers on the pump jump higher. It's almost as if the prices are playing a cruel game of leapfrog, each leap taking a bigger bite out of our wallets. It's enough to make you want to trade in your car for a horse and buggy. Imagine the simplicity of it. No gas, no emissions, just a leisurely trot down the road. But of course, that's not a practical solution for our modern lives. But before you embrace your inner Amish, let's break down why those gas prices are soaring and what it means for all of us. Understanding the root causes can help us navigate this bumpy ride a little better. Buckle up, folks, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. The journey to understanding gas prices is filled with twists and turns, influenced by a myriad of factors beyond our immediate control. The cost of oil is the biggest driver of gas prices. When oil prices go up, so do the prices at the pump. It's a simple equation, but the factors influencing oil prices are anything but simple. And right now, that cost is heavily influenced by a group known as OPEC. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries has a significant say in how much oil is produced and at what price it is sold. You can think of them as the cool kids table in the global energy cafeteria. They have the power to decide who gets what and at what cost, and their decisions ripple through the global economy. They've been flexing their muscles lately, and let's just say, it's not doing our wallets any favors. When OPEC decides to cut production, it means less oil on the market, driving prices up. These price hikes aren't just an inconvenience. They have a domino effect that impacts every aspect of our daily lives. They have real consequences for everyday Americans. Higher gas prices mean higher transportation costs, which in turn drive up the cost of goods and services. It means less money in your pocket for groceries, rent, or that well-deserved vacation. Every extra dollar spent at the pump is a dollar less for other essentials and little luxuries. And for those living paycheck to paycheck, it can be the difference between keeping the lights on or being left in the dark. The impact is profound and far-reaching, affecting the quality of life for many. So, the next time you're staring in dismay at those rising gas prices, remember, it's not just numbers on a screen. It's a reflection of a complex web of global politics, economics, and environmental factors. It's a complex geopolitical game with real-world consequences for every single one of us. The decisions made in boardrooms and government offices around the world trickle down to our everyday lives. And trust me, it's a game we all need to start paying attention to. Being informed and understanding the bigger picture can help us make better choices and advocate for policies that might ease the burden on our wallets. So, who exactly is this OPEC that everyone blames for high gas prices? Let's break it down. OPEC stands for the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. It's a name that often comes up in conversations about oil and gas prices. This group consists of 13 countries, primarily from the Middle East and Africa, that have joined forces to exert significant control over the global oil market. These nations control a substantial portion of the world's oil supply, making them incredibly influential in the energy sector. Think of them as the Beyoncé of oil producers, powerful, influential, and always in the spotlight. Their decisions can make or break economies. These countries collaborate to control the flow of oil and, yes, manipulate prices. They meet regularly to discuss and decide on production levels. By collectively deciding how much oil to produce, they wield immense power. Less oil means higher prices, and higher prices mean more money for them. It's a strategic game of supply and demand. You might be thinking, isn't that a bit unfair, like a global game of oil price fixing? And you'd have a point. It does seem like a global game of oil price fixing, doesn't it? But it's more complex than that. OPEC's actions are driven by a mix of economic and political motives, and you wouldn't be entirely wrong. OPEC's influence on oil prices is significant, and their decisions can have far-reaching consequences. OPEC's actions have a huge impact on the global economy. When they decide to cut production, it can lead to higher prices and economic ripple effects worldwide. When they decide to tighten the spigot, it sends shockwaves through the system, and everyone feels the pinch. But here's the kicker. Their decisions are often influenced by geopolitical factors. OPEC doesn't really care about keeping gas prices low for American drivers. Their primary concern is their own economic stability and political leverage. They're playing a long game, focused on maximizing their profits and maintaining their grip on the global energy market. This means they often prioritize their own interests over global economic stability. And as long as the world relies on oil, OPEC will continue to hold the cards. Their influence is unlikely to wane anytime soon, given the current global dependency on fossil fuels. However, the rise of renewable energy sources like solar and wind power is starting to challenge OPEC's dominance. The transition to cleaner energy could eventually reduce their control. As more countries invest in electric vehicles and sustainable energy, the global energy landscape is slowly shifting. This could lead to a future where OPEC's influence is diminished. International efforts to combat climate change are also playing a role. Agreements like the Paris Accord aim to reduce carbon emissions and promote green energy. The future of energy is likely to be more diverse, with a mix of traditional and renewable sources. This could create a more balanced and resilient global energy market. Communities and businesses are also getting involved, investing in local renewable projects and innovative energy solutions. This grassroots movement is gaining momentum. While OPEC's influence remains strong today, the seeds of change are being planted. The journey towards a more sustainable and equitable energy future has begun. And who knows? Maybe one day we'll look back and see this as the turning point when the world started calling the shots, not just the cartel. You might be wondering, with America being America, don't we have our own oil reserves? And yes, we do. We have shale oil, which is a bit of a challenge to extract. Getting it out is like trying to pour ketchup from a glass bottle. It's messy, costly, and sometimes you just give up and order pizza. Shale oil is trapped within rock layers. Extracting it involves fracking, which uses high-pressure water, sand, and chemicals to break the rock and release the oil. This method is controversial, with environmentalists worried about water contamination and earthquakes. But in desperate times, desperate measures are taken. The issue is, shale oil is costly to produce. It requires high oil prices to be profitable. So when OPEC lowers prices, it disrupts the US shale industry. Companies struggle to stay afloat, jobs are lost, and the goal of American energy independence suffers. So even though the US is a major oil producer, we're still tied to the global oil market. And OPEC is well aware of this. They can manipulate prices knowing it affects our energy security and economy. Oil isn't just fuel for our cars. It's a vital part of our modern world, woven into nearly every aspect of our daily lives. It's the lifeblood of the global economy, essential for keeping industries running and our homes powered. It powers our factories, drives our transportation, and is used in making everyday items like plastics and fertilizers. From the food we eat to the clothes we wear, oil is crucial in their production and distribution. So when oil prices spike, it's not just drivers who suffer. The impact is widespread, touching every sector of the economy. It sets off a chain reaction that affects the entire global economy. Higher oil prices can lead to increased costs for goods and services, slowing down economic growth. Imagine it like a bad tequila hangover, but instead of a headache, it's soaring inflation and the threat of recession. The cost of living rises, making it harder for people to make ends meet. Businesses face higher transportation costs, which can be a heavy burden, especially for small and medium-sized enterprises. These costs are passed on to consumers as higher prices for almost everything. From groceries to electronics, nothing is spared. Suddenly, that morning coffee costs a fortune, turning everyday pleasures into luxuries. And that dream vacation? It's on hold as travel becomes more expensive and less accessible. Developing countries are hit especially hard. They often lack the infrastructure and resources to handle volatile energy prices, leading to severe economic disruptions and hardships for millions. This can lead to social unrest, political instability, and a host of other problems. Governments may struggle to maintain order and provide basic services. The situation can quickly spiral out of control, leading to a cycle of instability and economic decline. The bottom line is, when OPEC sneezes, the world catches a cold. Their decisions on oil production have far-reaching consequences that can affect every corner of the globe. Their choices on oil production impact everything from the price of bread to the stability of global markets. A single decision can send shockwaves through the financial world. The price of bread, a staple for many, can skyrocket, making it harder for families to afford basic necessities. The stability of global markets can be thrown into chaos. And that, my friends, is a sobering thought. The interconnectedness of our world means no country is immune to the effects of fluctuating oil prices. It's a reminder of how fragile our global economy can be.